Off tape is the off tape. This is the off tape show. Yeah. What up, people? It's your boy Jeff the Ruler, your host to the Off Tape Show, and I'm so excited because today is the second episode of the show, and I hope you learned a lot from the first episode that we had with Malon Spicy. And today we are going to have another legendary artist that is going to teach us. It's going to be more like a lecture than an interview. So I'm so excited myself because I know I'm going to learn a lot after this interview. So we're going to go on a short break now. When we come back, I'm going to introduce my guest to you. You don't want to go nowhere. Stick around. Off tape is the off tape. This is the off tape show. Hello guys, welcome back to the Off Tape Show. I'm so excited today, and right now I want to introduce you to our guest. You know, it's a special one. I'm so excited. It's a father. He has over 40 plus years in the music business. You know, it's a flutist and an instrumentalist, a composer, a personal friend to Fela Anikulapo Kuti from childhood, also a mentor and also a godfather to Seun Kuti, you know, and also have toured around the world, sold millions of copies, over 100 million of records sold worldwide from his genre of music. A pioneer in the music business. He has built foundation. Is also into oil and gas, also into mining. You know, it's so incredible to have this guest on this show today, and I'm so honored to have him, and I hope you also learn a lot from him. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you to Mac Iseli. Put your hands around the topic of our guest.
Okay, my name is Mac Iseli, Doctor, MFR, and I think I am a flautist and not a talkative. So I should introduce myself with a few notes on the flute. Don't you think so?
Well, you're welcome, sir.
Here, like,
Yeah, this is better.
okay, good. Let's go ahead.
Excellent. I just wish I could play this. I could only play the drums, so I just wish I could play. And I heard you say in one interview that the flute is the most difficult instrument to play.
Yes, it's the most difficult instrument. Well, you know, I study music. I have a PhD in philharmonic. So when we learn philharmonic composition, we learn every instrument in the philharmonic orchestra, because we must know the high notes, the low notes, the difficulties, and flute is regarded as the most difficult instrument to learn. The second most difficult is harp and then violin. But because the flute, you need a good ear. Let me show you something. I don't touch the flute, I just use my mouth. Let me show here. So you create the octaves the way you place the air, and that's a difficult thing.
Wow, the controlling of the air.
I think it takes about 20 years to learn the flute professionally.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, go ahead with your questions.
Okay, sir. I want to start by this question. I would say, what was your relationship like with Fela Anikulapo Kuti? because
Well,
for the nature of your, because I know in one of your interviews, Shehu Kuti is your godson, and I know he comes for consultation to you. You know, so I wanted to know, because I know your music is classical and Fela is, although I know you have an Afro band in Europe, but your genre is a contrast to that of what Fela was doing. So what was your relationship with him like? I think we would like to know.
Okay, let me answer first the question of Fela. Then I am classical trained, but that means I know the polyphonetic system, but it doesn't mean that I have to be a classical musician. I play jazz, I play Afropop, I have my band where I sing. Classical music is a professional base to master an instrument. Now, I came back home after I had done my studies, economics and music in 1970. And my mother, a Shakiri lady, married to my Swiss father, who unfortunately was assassinated when I was small. Oh. My mother had a very big hairdressing salon on Nambia Sikwe Street in Lagos. The hairdressing salon for all the important ladies in town. She had 12 girls on chairs doing their hair. Okay. So I first picked up a job in UTC, Union Trading Company, as a manager because I was young. My stepfather, Sir Mobalaji Bank Anthony, said, you cannot just go into music. So I had to take a job. So during lunch break from UTC to my mother's big hairdresser salon was just a few minutes walk. And my mother called me and said, look, there on that chair, that gentleman is called Fela Kuti. He's here because his wife is doing her hair in my salon. And she's introduced me to Fela and said to Fela, this is my son, T-Mac. He's a businessman, but he plays the flute. You know how mothers talk. So I sat beside of Fela. I've never met him, never heard of him. And Fela said, you know, I have a small club in Yaba called Afro Spot. Come on Saturday evening and bring your flute. Maybe we can just do something together. So I went that Saturday evening to the Afro Spot. It was quite rowdy. I smelled some very funny smoke, hemp smoke and so on. Yeah. So I went to the dressing room and Fela gave me a hug and said, hey, T-Mac, try this song. I gave me a big joint. I said, but Fela, I don't even smoke cigarettes. What is this? This is natural Nigeria grass. Yeah. So to be polite, I took one puff. And I was somewhere else. I was so stoned I had to sit down. When I came down from that one, I said, never again T-Mac. And I went on stage and my fingers, they were just playing like on their own. Yeah, so that started a good friendship. I would say for about 6, 7 of Fela's albums, I was in the studio assisting in the mix because he knew I had good ears. We became good friends. When Fela died, Beko brought Sheun to my house and said, T-Mac, you know, I don't want Sheun to grow up in that shrine with no control. So he lived in my house, went to school. I spent some money and got Sheun's mother a little, it was actually quite a big supermarket, so she had some income. I gave her the money to rent and to fill it with stuff. And when Sheun finished secondary school, I sent him to the Paul McCartney Academy in Liverpool, where he did 2 years of professional music and arrangement. I think Sheun is one of the best educated musicians in Nigeria. Yes. But to be honest, I don't see him much. He doesn't come for consultations. He hardly calls me. So I wish him well. And he's now in Europe or in America. He's doing well, and I'm proud of him.
Wow.
But I must tell you something with Fela's music. I liked some of it, quite interesting horn riffs, but to me, his songs were too long. My songs are 3-4 minutes. Fela songs were 1 album side, and to me that was a little bit annoying. Solos were too long, but I think the estate is doing well, and I'm happy about that.
Wow. Okay. Wow. This, I said, it's more like a lecture, and sir, to be very honest, one of the reasons why I was inspired to do this show was because that's why I called it off tape. The off tape is derived from the 90s VHS Hollywood movies that they used to document, you know, special assignment by the CIA and by the FBI. And when you get that tape, it's like all the information and all the dirty secrets of the government is there. So the off tape show is that kind of concept where you have an information that people don't really know about some certain time in the music space or some certain time in the industry. Like what you said about, I know Sean was in Liverpool for music, but I never knew you were the backbone for that move, and that is really inspiring to me, sir. And I think God will bless you particularly for that action. Honestly, okay, we'll move to the next question because of our time. What other instruments, sir, do you play besides the?
Well, when you study music, you have to master in two. My primary instrument is the flute. My secondary instrument was classical guitar. So I play guitar, but then when I became a professional, I added saxophone because saxophone is not too difficult. So you can see on my Instagram page, which is Tmac_Iseli, TEEMAC_Iseli, ISELI. You can see also photo me playing saxophone.
Yes, sir.
But because I always had in my band very good saxophone player from Yomi Sax, Yemi Sax, I decided let me concentrate on the singing and the flute. And I always have an alto tenor saxophone player. I always have one or two trumpet player in my band. So let them do the job.
Okay.
So I put the sax a little bit down.
Okay, I just asked that because I know I literally know you with the flutes and in big occasions and stuff and all. I haven't seen you, but I know we play other instruments. So I just wanted us to know what other instruments. And I think with what you have said, it's actually quite informative as well because we've known now that you play other instruments besides the flute as well. Okay, so I'll go to my next question. Sir, at what age did you start music, like professionally?
I wanted, actually, you know, when after my father was assassinated, my mother sent me and my two sisters to Switzerland, which was very, very intelligent of her. And I grew up in my uncle's house, the elder brother to my father, who was a very wealthy industrialist. He had factories. We lived very comfortable. So I said, he told us we can all learn an instrument to enhance our education. And I fell in love with the flute at the age of, I think, 5. We went to a classical concert and I was mesmerized by the flute sound. And something in me said, I have played this flute before. And I believe in a previous life, I was a flautist already.
Okay.
So, but I was too young. I didn't have the thing, you know, you need a certain size of your fingers so that it plays, and you need strong lungs.
Okay.
Look, when you are small, your fingers cannot touch everything like this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I had to wait till I was 7.5. I think I'm born in May. I was 7, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. I was 7.5 when I got my first flute as a Christmas present. I was so excited. That flute box smelled so nice of new flute.
Yeah.
I put it under my pillow, my box, when I slept. It was just like I was excited. And I had private lessons till I was about 10.
Okay.
Every week I would go to a wonderful lady not too far away from my school, and I would take the flute lessons. I would learn how to read and write. I would do the Ep2, the studies for flute. And then at 10, I joined the conservatorium in Zurich, which was hard work.
Yeah.
And when I did my final exam, I still went to Lausanne to do the next step, the master on the flute. Lausanne is the French-speaking part of Switzerland. That also helped me. Moi, je parle français couramment, c'est ma langue préférée, et j'ai fait mes études de la musique classique à Lausanne. That means I studied also in Lausanne.
Wow.
Then I came back to Nigeria and found out that hardly anybody had ever seen a flute. Nobody understood.
Yes.
It was a little bit difficult in the beginning to let people realize that the flute can play jazz, it can play pop, it can play anything.
Yes.
But now more and more flute, you know, I'm part of the Mousson. I was one of the founders of the Classical Music Society. So my dream was, let's educate them. Maybe that's your next question.
Yes, yes.
Off tape is the off tape. This is the off tape show. Off tape is the off tape. This is the off tape show. Off tape is the off tape. This is the off tape show. Off tape is the off tape. This is the off tape show. Off tape is the off tape. This is the off tape show. Off tape is the off tape. This is the off tape show. Off tape is the off tape. This is the off tape show.
So you would say professionally it was about 10, 11 you started, like when you start going out?
No, seven and a half I started to learn the flute. But then I went into the academy. Professionally, it can only be when you have finished and you become a professional. I think it was 1968 I formed my first band. Please go into my WhatsApp. You'll see there's one video with all the stages of me. Every band I played. It's a lovely video on my Instagram. Go and check it out.
Okay.
So I became a professional in '68 in Switzerland. I did my first recording, which did quite well. I made some money. And then in 1970, in August, I decided to come back to Nigeria.
Okay.
Then I formed my second band, which was T-Mac, an Afro collection.
Yeah, we'll come to that. We'll come to
okay.
that. I have that on my sleeves. I just wanted us, because of record purpose, just wanted us to know what into music. And also what I got from what you have said so far, sir, is the fact that you as a young person, you have to learn properly, not because you have passion in music, you just want to just start singing music. You have to, if there's a school, you have to go learn instruments to help guide your music sense so that you have a sense of direction in whatever genre you want to go into music. So I think
I would say, look, let me say it like this. You would not go to a doctor who is a quack. You will not go to an architect who has never studied architecture. So why would a musician claim he's a professional musician and he doesn't even know in what key he's singing, or he doesn't even know the rudiment of music?
Yes.
To me, they are quacks. They're not musicians. A professional studies his skill.
Yes, yes. So for you young ones out there, professional studies is skill. So make sure you study whatever thing you're doing, even besides music, watching the show, you have to study and make sure you're a professional and practice. So that's what that is saying to us now. So I want to go to my next question. You are titled an MFR by late President Yaradua in 2009. And one of the things that stuck with me was the fact that you were given that for being a pioneer of the stability of the restiveness and the rehabilitation also of the militants in the region of the South, which I'm from the South, I'm from Bayelsa, and at that time I was there in Bayelsa, I was at the region. I have family members who are also agitating as well. So when I saw that in your bio and the fact that you were given MFR, which is one of the most prestigious awards by the federal government in the country, and it's for that reason. So it's really elated something inside of me and made me to be really more proud of you as well, to be honest, sir. So I want you to tell us about that. What role did you play, for that? So
well, I remember I was in a eatery with some friends and I got a phone call and somebody said, hello, T-Mac. My name is Ateke Tom. I say, are you joking? You mean Ateke Tom, the the militant boss? He said, yes. I said, but who gave you my phone number?
Yeah.
He said, Daddy Shoki. So I said, Ateketom, what can I do for you? He said, you know what, T-Mac, I'm fed up. We have been 10 years in the jungle, in the creeks. I want peace. I want peace. I'm tired of it. I said, but why don't you speak to the government? He said, I don't trust the government.
Yes.
I don't trust the army. I don't trust the police. I don't trust those chiefs and kings. I trust you as Pt1 president. So I didn't tell my family because my younger sister is a Justice Okwobi. She was the chair lady of the SARS panel. I didn't tell her because I didn't want them to panic. So I flew. Oh, at that time I had Marlon Jackson in town.
I'm going to come to that.
And Marlon said to me, T-Mac, I want to come. I want to be there with you. So we flew together to Port Harcourt. But something said to me, Marlon, you stay at the Hotel Presidential first, because if something happens to you, that will be an incredible problem. And Lagos State government has given you police protection. They don't want Michael Jackson's brother to be kidnapped.
Yeah.
So we stayed back, and I took a speedboat out to Dwarf Island, and I waited. Then suddenly the militants with all this head covered, they came with a speedboat. I entered, and we went through creeks. I don't even know how they remember the way. And we got to Ateketom's place. I was astonished how well they were organized. They had nets over their camp that the airplanes couldn't see. They had rocket launchers. They had 3,000 foot soldiers.
Wow.
They welcomed me out of the boat. They carried me on their shoulder because the creek water is very dirty. And we sat there in an open space. I can send you a photo. I'm sitting there with him. And to my biggest surprise, I had fresh fish pepper soup. He knew that I don't eat meat. There was a bottle of expensive Hennessy. Occasionally I drink some Hennessy. And we talked. I said to him, Ateketom, there cannot be peace with you alone. So he took his satellite phone and called up Boylov, Iberi Papa, Peter Black, Tombolo. He called up all the other militant leaders and said, please book an appointment with T-Mac, he'll come and meet you. So I drafted the peace treaty, which said rehabilitation of the militants, which said the development of the Niger Delta, which said, what was the third point? Forgiveness for whatever they have done and so on. And I submitted it to the government. At that time, Goodluck Jonathan was vice president, and he was coordinating with me. They agreed to everything. Goodluck Jonathan was a wonderful human being. I could just say, I'm in front of your house, the vice president villa in Abuja. I would be ushered in. So I gave it to them, and they signed it. And after the last militant came to Abuja to sign off, I was in a small ceremony given the MFR. So I was not involved in the next stage where I would have loved to be involved, because I told the government, be very carefully. Make sure that you give the monthly enumeration to the militants directly, not to their bosses.
Yes.
They didn't listen to his government. I think allocated about 35,000 naira for each militant. And they paid to the militant leader who chopped most of the money. But at least many of them got an education done.
Yes.
Many of them were flown. And now we have peace in the Niger Delta.
Yes. That was
the reason they called me, you know, I'm from the Niger Delta.
Yes.
You know, I'm Shakiri.
Mentioned
so they have confidence in me, and I'm very happy because occasionally I still get phone calls from some of the militant leaders. Ayuri called me sometimes. If Ateketom is in Lekki and I have time, he'll call me, T-Mac, have a little party, and I join him. He's now a king in his town.
Yes.
So we need peace in Nigeria.
Yes.
I wish we had peace up north too. You know, we need peace up there. But I don't think I will go up there because they are more dangerous than my brothers in the Niger Delta.
That's right. That's right. The agitation in the south is understandable, but the one in the north, anyway, is political. So I will not really go into that because it's an entertainment show. But I'm just excited because as someone from the region, and I was in Bielsa at that time, and I knew what was happening. In fact, we made a movie. It's called The Up Creek. It was sponsored by.
You remember? I went to Bielsa to see Boy Love on the creeks. Oh, that was 6 hours on speedboat each way. When I got back, I had to go from Warri. From Warri through the creek. I tell you, I could not even stand up. My whole back was dead. Because on the waves, it goes like this for 6 hours. The waves, they hit your speedboat. I remember that was Boy Love had his camp in Bielsa State in the creek.
And we actually made a movie, so it was a big thing for me. It was sponsored by the then Governor Timmy Silva, you know, and directed by Tarella Thompson. I think I was part of the militants in the film. I was shot in the creeks. We had.
Let me tell you, you know what? Governor Silva invited me and Marlon Jackson to spend a weekend with him.
Wow!
And he took us in a helicopter to watch certain slave historical sites.
Yes,
that was interesting. Oh, you're right. It was the same time.
Yes, Silva is a lovely person. When he was there, he honored artists. Myself particularly, I was sent to him. I was nominated for an award in South Africa then, and I was sent to him, and he took me in, kept me in the government house for 3 days. In fact, I wasn't even expecting his reception, you know, but he gave me, and he was so humble, and we've become friends then. Even in Abuja, I've been to his house and met him a couple of times. I've helped him organize his birthday parties for him as well with his family. So he's still my friend and my boss till now. So anyway, I'm really excited, sir, about your affiliation with the South and what you have been able to achieve in the South. And I think with the MFR that you have, it's really worth it. It's really worth it. And I think your children also will be very proud of this, sir.
Off tape is the off tape. This is the off tape show. Off tape is the off tape. This is the off tape show. Off tape is the off tape. This is the off tape show. Off tape is the off tape. This is the off tape show. Off tape is the off tape. This is the off tape show. Off tape is the off tape. This is the off tape show. Off tape is the off tape. This is the off tape show.